Hi guys, welcome to this session in Microsoft Access. In this module, I want to talk to you about creating relationships between tables. So in this database, I have three tables: consultants. If I open that one, it's just a list of consultants, and you can see there you've got a consultant ID field, and if I go into design, that is the primary key for that table. Close that one down. Then I've got a table of projects, and in this you've got a consultant's ID and a project ID field, and if I go into design on that one, the project ID is the primary key, and the last table is a sponsor table, and you've got sponsor ID there, and if I go into design on that one, the sponsor ID field is the primary key. So each table has a primary key. Now if I go to the database tools window, you have this option here underneath relationships. So if I click on that one, I can then bring the tables, add tables either from there, but you can actually just drag and drop the tables. So if I do consultants and projects first, if I just make these a little bit bigger so you can see all the fields. To do a link, you can see I've got the primary key in this table, and I've got the same field in this table, but it's not a primary key. So what I'm going to do is just drag from consultant's ID to consultant's ID. When I let go, I get this box popping up, which is coming up with table query and related table query. So basically consultant ID, and you've got this saying one-to-many, so one-to-many relationship, which is what I do want. So it's going to be this: one consultant can be on many projects. That's what that means. One consultant can be on many projects. Now if I tick this box, enforce referential integrity, what that means is I cannot create a consultant ID in this table if it does not exist already in the consultants table. So that's quite important. You've got these options of cascade update related fields and deleted fields. It depends on the type of database table that you've got, whether you want to tick these, which would mean if I deleted a consultant and I've got that ticked, it would delete all consultant records in this project table, and you might not want that to happen, so you just have to be careful with that one. But if I click on create, I will get the 1 to infinity symbol, and you can see it there. Now if I double click back on the line, this box pops back up, and the other thing you've got there is join type, where you've got these different joins. So this is going to show only rows where both fields are equal in the table, so only consultants that are actually doing projects. This one is going to show all the consultants, but only the fields in the project table that have a consultant allocated, and this number 3 is going to do it the other way around: all the projects, but only the consultants where join fields are equal. So that's the 3 types of joins you can have. I'm going to leave this on 1 for this first little bit. I'll click OK to that, and OK. Now I've set the relationship. I'll close this window. Yes, I do want to save that. Now that relationship that I've created will cascade through all of this database. So whatever I do now, the computer will remember that I've got that relationship. So if I create a query, for example, so if I create a query design, and I add those 2 tables, straight away the link is there, and you can see the information there. So what I can now do is, let's go for first name, surname from this table, and project and location from that table. So you can see there it's telling you the table it's coming from. If I run that query, I get this information like so, and then you can see I've got 3 projects that this consultant's doing, me, and you can see each of the other ones. So that's a join type 1. Now if I go back into it and double click on the line, I can go join type 2. So this is going to show me all the consultants, but the project, only the consultants on the project table that are allocated. So there could be a spare project here. Click OK to that. You see the arrow going that way. If I run that query, so then it's showing me these 2 consultants that aren't actually on a project. So that's a useful query to know about. Now if I do it the other way around, it's going to show me all the projects. OK to that one. The arrow goes the other way. if I run that query, any project, this top one hasn't got anybody on it, so logic would dictate that you pick one of those 2 spare consultants and allocate them to this project. That's how that would work, and you'd set those 2 queries up and save them for later use. So I'm just going to double click back on this and put it back to 1. OK, and then I'm going to save this query as QRY project consultants. Okay, now if I close this down, what I can do there is create a report on that, and I'm going to create a report wizard. I'd use the wizard, so it's got that there. Knock it over, next. So it's grouping by first name, surname, so that'll say Stephen Saxton and list the 3 projects that I'm on. Do you want to add any more groupings to that? Not really, I'm okay with that. Next, and leave it ascending, next, landscape, next, give it a name, so this is going to be RPT consultant projects, or projects, we'll put projects afterwards, just so I don't have to faff about with that. Finish, and then that should set that up nice and easy. So you can see there, look, I've got 3 projects, my 3 projects are listed there. And this is slightly truncated, so I'd have to go into design on this. So if I close this, and you're basically playing around with these fields here, the project location probably needs to come across a little bit. If it goes on to 2 pages, so be it. But that's a title, so that's the actual field, because some of these projects are quite long-winded. Let's have a look at that one. Just about made it there. Still got it on 1 page. So that's my report. So if I close that one down, yes I do, I'll save it. So that was creating a link between the consultants and project, but what about the sponsor? So now I'm going back to database tools, relationship window. I'm going to bring the sponsor table on. So I've got sponsor ID, and in this project table I've got sponsor ID as well. So one sponsor can sponsor many projects. That's what this is all about. Again, I get this enforced referential integrity, and it's one-to-many, which is what I want. So I click create, and I get the one-to-many symbol there. Now if you do a join, or you try and join fields that aren't compatible, you will get an error message coming up. So if I can, not an error message, but you'll get a different thing coming up. See if I can make this go wrong. So that's a date field. If I put that to city, which is a text field, it's coming up with indeterminate. It doesn't understand that relationship, and it's not, you can't carry on there. It'll let you create it, but you just get that line. That would be an alarm bell for me if I saw a line like that without the one to affinity sign. I'm going to delete that. It might still work, but that definitely wouldn't work. A date field to a city field, a date field to a text field, that definitely wouldn't work. But if it comes up with indeterminate, you should be looking at the links. If you do a link like this, so I'm going to sponsor ID, and you tick that and it says it can't do it, that will be because there's already records in this table, sponsor IDs in this table, that don't exist in there. So then it will just be a straight line without the infinity symbol on it. It still lets you do it, but you should really stop there and check this project table, making sure that there are no sponsor numbers, IDs in there that don't exist in there, because that's not good practice. So I'll do that again. That's what I want, and that's what you should be looking for. And I'll save this again, this save, close this window down. Now I can create a query, another query, create query, query design. I can now add all 3 tables. So the project table is like the joining table. So I can pull information off from all 3 tables. If I just open these up a bit so you can see everything. Like that. So now I want first name, surname from that. I want project and location from that one. And I want sponsor name from that one. So if I run this query, let's see if that works. Yes, it does. So I've got sponsor name. And I'll save this query. So I'll call this query sponsor just for ease, and then close that, and then create a report on that one. So I've got it highlighted. So create. I'll do the wizard again. So taking everything across. Next. So now I want this sponsor name, and then I might do another group in there if I come down. Yes, I do want to group by surname. No, I'll leave it as sponsor. I want it as sponsor. Actually, it's just looking at it like that. If I go project, what's that going to do? No, I don't want project. So if I go surname, so that's going to say Saxton. So sponsor Saxton, and you're going to have your first name underneath it. You can always edit that later on. Let's have a look at this one. Going next, have it landscaped. Next, so I'll call it RPT sponsor, and then finish that off. So what's that looking like? So that's Dander, ODI, UCAS. So you've got the names there. Okay. Surname John, Saxton, Stephen. So really, what I don't really want the I shouldn't have brought the first name across, or maybe I should concatenate the first name and surname so it comes across as one field, and then that would look better. Just close that down. Close that. So what that means, if I go into design on this one, and what I'm talking about there is concatenating that. So if I click into a field here, just do Shift F2, which will zoom that up, so I can go equals and then call it name. Doesn't like names, colon, and then I want first name. There's a space there, which is not good practice. First name space with that, and a land sign, and then surname, like that, little square bracket. See what that looks like. Don't need the equals in there. Let's have a run of that. Yeah, so that's okay. So now, if I don't need these now, so I can get rid of these two, and I can move this concatenated field to the front. Let's have a look at that. So I've got it concatenated, so it's Tom Jones. Close that down, save that, create a different report. So create report wizard. So I can bring everything across again. I want it sponsor name, and then names, like that. Go next, next, landscape, next. So this is already called RPT sponsor, so I'll just put a number 1 after it, and then finish. So what does this look like? Dander, John Reed, Stephen Saxton. That's better. So that looks better. And again, I'd have to go back into design of this and sort that field out so it's not truncated, which it is at the moment. So I could just move them across a little bit. Close that. And that's my report. So that's just a very short video of how you can create relationships and then base queries on those relationships and then base reports on those queries. And we had a quick look at concatenation just to tidy something up. So hopefully this little video has been okay for you. Thank you for your time, and I'll catch you in the next one.